Hi, everyone. Welcome to the gathering. I am so glad that you have joined us tonight. My name is Pastor Alice. I'm just doing a quick intro here. My husband, Matt, the worship leader, and myself, we are on vacation this week. Pastor Morgan is a rock star, and she has put this service together with all of the videos. You will see some of our old songs tonight. Maybe a smattering of some new stuff. Also, we have Carol Willard. She is giving us a faith formation piece on art as a spiritual discipline. Carol is a tremendously talented artist, theologian, writer, and we are so lucky to have her with us tonight. Pastor Morgan is giving us a meditation on a very difficult text. So this is sure to be a wonderful service. I just wanted to reach out and just say that I'm so glad that you are worshiping with us tonight. If you are a new person finding this service online, I invite you to click that Connect card link that's in the YouTube description and fill it out. And just let us know that you've connected with us, and if there are any ways we can help you connect to our community here at Calvary. Let us have a wonderful worship experience together, worshiping our mighty God. Let us worship.
Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living my faith. Sing, nothing is impossible. Oh, yeah. You're strong, Lord, it leads me on. I'm not gonna live by what I see. I'm not gonna live by what I feel. Deep down I know that you're here with me. I know that you can do anything. Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause you gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living my faith. Nothing is impossible. Not for you. I'm not gonna live by what I see. I'm not gonna live by what I feel. 'Cause deep down I know that you're here with me. I know that you can do anything. Through you, I can do anything. 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open, strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. We sing nothing is impossible through you. I can do anything, I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open, strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe in you.
Hello. I've been asked to give a few words about my experience with my spiritual growth along with art. I've always really enjoyed creating things, making art, seeing what 2 things, 3 things would fit together and how they might be useful. And along the line, folks have said I'm an artist. I'll have to admit that's always bothered me because I thought of art as having to be like nature and be perfect, and that I just wasn't living up to that. So I had to do a lot of thinking over the years and really go back to the beginning, because in the beginning God created nature. Nature really was the first revelation of God, and then he created people, you and I, over the years, and gave us a task. Ours was to care for nature and all of creation and to use it, but not to abuse it. And so it kind of occurred to me that really God was the first creator, the first artist. And so I need to relate to that God in order to express any artistic notions and abilities that I have. I first learned to sew, my mother taught me, and then I learned to paint, and then I learned to do some speaking, and then I learned to do some writing, and it all comes down to the fact that I'm created in the image of God, and as such, I'm a co-creator with God. And since we're all created by God, and it's a succession kind of creation, we're all artists. We're all co-creators. That's helped me to relax about my painting and to do whatever I have to give. It may be something very formal and something I may go overseas to a really beautiful place to see, bring it back so that we know something else about this world that God created. Or it may be like this one, which was the use of leftover paint to use it up. Part of that relates back to not wasting what God has created. God's nature is or provides the raw materials. That was here before we got here. And then we were given the job of using it, helping us to live, helping us to learn to share and make the benefits go around, and to create art that will remind us of nature and our Creator God. So I really have decided that not only am I an artist, but that through the whole process of birth and relating clear back to original, we all are co-creators with God. No matter what our gifts are or how we express them. Obviously, we think of musicians or painters or writers or musicians, but actually, teachers, preachers, homemakers, parents, developers, planners, inventors, scientists, the whole gamut. And don't forget the house cleaners and the ditch diggers and the gardeners who take care of God's creation. We all have an investment in that, to use it, take care of it, and to share it. Meaning also not only the raw materials, but ourselves. So this is a little attempt on my part to share my co-creation with my Creator God. And I hope that I can continue to understand God's ways. Now, you know, I started out saying I was a perfectionist. Maybe I missed that part, but I was early in my life. I was very unhappy with anything I did because it wasn't perfect. So I've decided that if you look at nature, nature's not perfect either. It has its upside and its downside, but it all works together. So I'm trying not to be a perfectionist, to use up the old paint and to take care of the raw materials that God gave us, and in the meantime, honor God. Thanks for letting me share.
Oh Lord, could save themselves, their own soul could heal. Our shame was deeper than the sea, your grace is deeper still. Oh Lord, could save themselves, their own soul could heal. 'Cause our shame was deeper than the sea, but your grace is deeper still. You alone can rescue, you alone can save, you alone can lift us from the grave. And you came down to find us, let us out of death. To you alone belongs the highest praise. 'Cause you, oh Lord, have made a way, the great divide you hear. For when our hearts were far away, your love went further still. Oh yes, your love goes further still. And you alone can rescue, you alone can save, you alone can lift us from the grave. You came down to find us, let us out of death. To you alone belongs the highest praise. To you alone belongs the highest praise. You alone. So we sing, yeah, we lift up our eyes to the giver of life. Oh, we lift up our eyes to the giver of life. eyes, lift up our eyes, you're the giver of life. Oh, we lift up our eyes, lift up our eyes, you're the giver of life. Oh, we lift up our eyes, lift up our eyes, you're the giver of life. Oh, we lift up our eyes, lift up our eyes, you're the giver of life. Oh, yes, we lift up our eyes, lift up our eyes, you're the giver of life. Yeah, we lift up our eyes, lift up our eyes, you're the giver of life. 'Cause you alone can rescue, you alone can save, you alone can lift us from the grave. You came down to find us, led us out of death. To you alone belongs the highest praise. To you alone belongs the highest praise. To you alone belongs the highest praise.
The Gospel reading is from Luke chapter 16, verses 19 through 31. There was a rich man who was dressed in purple and fine linen, who feasted sumptuously every day, and at his gate lay a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who longed to satisfy his hunger with what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs would come and lick his sores. The poor man died and was carried away by the angels to be with Abraham. The rich man also died and was buried. In Hades, where he was being tormented, he looked up and saw Abraham far away with Lazarus by his side. He called out, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am in agony in these flames." But Abraham said, "Child, remember that during your lifetime you received your good things, and Lazarus in like manner evil things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in agony. Besides all this, between you and us a great chasm has been fixed, so that those who might want to pass from here to you cannot do so, and no one can cross from there to us." He said, "Then, Father, I beg you to send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, that he may warn them, so that they will not also come into this place of torment." Abraham replied, "They have Moses and the prophets. They should listen to them." He said, "No, Father Abraham, but if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent." He said to him, "If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead."
The gospel reading for today, the rich man and Lazarus, is one that can produce further dichotomies. Meaning, if you're rich, you'll end up in Hades. If you're poor, you'll end up in the bosom of Abraham in heaven. Dichotomies tend to keep us at odds with one another and even ourselves. And yet, I don't think the text in and of itself was saying those who are rich will end up in Hades, those who've been tormented and struggling in this life will end up in heaven. I don't think that's the collective message. I do think that the gospel writer of Luke wants to warn folks about what it means to assume that wealth will protect you. This is one of several parables that talks about generosity and wealth and misconceptions around it. But I think for my reading on it this time, I'm reminded that anytime we place an either or us, them, or has to be this way, otherwise it's going to be this way, situation or dynamic, we sometimes miss the in-between. The ways in which we can glean message and meaning and purpose from the things that aren't this or that. From the things that might be uncertain, or the things that might be a both and. Perhaps this text is saying, no matter which situation you find yourself in, the rich man's, Lazarus's, or the rich man's siblings, that we need people. We need healing. And in order to fully experience healing, we need one another. And so perhaps we can loosen the ties of dichotomies or binaries and begin to see that when things are in the in-between, grace can move and dance. When things are not held down to one position or one belief, that newness can be created, that freedom can abound, that healing can happen in unexpected ways. Perhaps if we allow ourselves to see how we are both Lazarus and the rich man, we can begin to dismantle systems that keep us in this or that, us and them, right and wrong situations and relationships. If we can be both the rich man and Lazarus, then we can begin to see how everybody needs healing. We can begin to lean into empathy, and we can begin to realize that there is not an individual in this world who is fully healed. There's not an individual in this world that doesn't need a bit more healing. There's not an individual in this world that doesn't need another human being. And if we can get to that space and lean in and realize that we are both Lazarus and the rich man, that we have the chance to be the siblings who still don't get it through the teachings of Moses and the prophets, or for us, the life and teaching of Christ. If we can get to a place where we see that we need healing and hope and grace, that we need one another, that there is no way we can do this on our own, that we have to humble ourselves to be open to healing, to be open to wholeness, to be open to the salvation in the here and now, we can begin to see heaven come here on earth. That we can, in fact, be the ones who bring about healing and salvation to mind, body, and souls. That when the systems feel so overwhelming, like they will forever win, that there is no way we can dismantle the injustice that they have created, that we have perpetuated, that we may even benefit from. When we say that is not true, and we begin to risk, when we begin to continue taking those next steps, healing, no matter how small, takes hold. And when that healing takes hold, it gives us the chance to expand it. It gives us a chance to give it breath and power and life. And as that healing grows, we realize there are other ways of being. There are other ways than rich, poor. There are other ways than well physically, unwell physically. And we begin to see that we are collectively tied up at any given time with the possibility of being any of those things. And if we realize it can happen to us, maybe we'll have enough empathy to realize it's happening in the here and now to others. And we can see ourselves in them, and we can seek to bring about love, grace, healing, and liberation. That no oppressive culture or system or organization or entity is too great of a force for God's salvation. If we can really believe in that, then we can begin to risk what it means for us. Because ultimately, our healing is dependent upon others' healing. Our healing is connected to, through the divine breath in me and you, through that divine breath, we are connected, and our salvation is as well. During Lent, maybe we can explore how we've allowed binaries and dichotomies to keep us from seeing a collective wellness, a collective hope, a collective world where heaven is here on earth, just as the Lord's Prayer offers. I believe in various ways we can all be Lazarus and the rich man at the same time. I can also believe that some of us have enough wealth and privilege that we won't fully ever know what it is to be Lazarus. Or that some of us are so physically, emotionally, systematically oppressed and hurting that we will never know the privilege of the rich man. These both can be true. It doesn't have to be one or the other, because our lives are not as linear as we think. We go through seasons and ebbs and flows. And if we can begin to allow ourselves to see the fluidity of life, instead of these stagnant polar opposites, we can begin to come together. And in coming together, we can begin experiencing healing on a regular basis. Christ didn't come to bring salvation for only when we take our last breath and transition to the next life. Christ came to bring salvation in the here and now. Salvation means healing. And so, if we can disrupt these binaries and dichotomies and live in the queerness of this space, in this liminal, thin space of the divine, healing can be our guide. Healing can be our reality. Healing can bring about justice and peace. I pray all of us can find the salvation we need in the here and now. May we go forth, boldly experiencing it, risking what we need, so that healing, salvation can be our hope. Amen.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see beauty that made this heart adore you. Hope of a life spent with you. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. King of all days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above. Humbly you came to the earth you created, all for love's sake became poor. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. And I'll never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. I'll never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. And I'll never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. And I'll never know how much it cost to see my sin upon that cross. And here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. Light of the world, you stepped down into darkness.